Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Vania Yudith M, so you can call me Vania. I'm from Translation F, and in this moment I want to present about current teaching methodology in speaking. And then in this case I want to discuss about audiolingual method and communicative language speaking teaching in teaching speaking skills. So for the first, speaking is one of the 4 skills in learning foreign language because listening, reading, and writing. It has been taught since elementary school. However, it is not easy for the student to communicate in English. They have to think more when speaking English because they need to produce the correct sentence and appropriate word. Even in a good pronunciation. This reality makes the teacher need to think how speaking ability could be mastered by the teacher. Therefore, teaching of speaking today is directed to improve the learner communicative skills that can express English appropriately. And then the teaching speaking must be focused on teaching English language. The goal of teaching speaking is to communicate efficiently. And then the audiolingual method can drill students in the use of grammatical sentence pattern. And then in this method, advise that the students are taught or language directly without using the student native language to explain new word or grammar in the target language. And then the audiolingual method, like a direct method, is also an oral approach. The audiolingual method drills students in the use of grammatical sentence pattern. In this development principle from behavioral psychologists were incorporated. In addition, the teacher can use communicative language teaching as the continuation or continue method in a teaching speaking skills. This technique is based on communicative method, and then this method is primarily tool of communication. Therefore, to get successful in implementing this method, the teacher needs to provide communicative activity that involve the conversation or dialogue. The reason is dialogue will help the student to practice the pronunciation, intonation like a native speakers. And then communicative language teaching or CLT can help the student to develop the English context appropriately. This methodology is learner-centered and emphasizes communication and real-life situation. In CLT, the student can practice every situation in daily life. So, communicative language teaching or CLT is an approach to the teaching of second and foreign language that emphasizes interaction as both the mean and the goal of learning in a language. For the first, I want to tell you, or I want to discuss about audiolingual method and communicative language teaching. In the teaching speaking skills. Audiolingual methods or ALM and communicative language teaching or CLT are 2 methods that can be used to increase the student's speaking skills. In audiolingual method, the teacher's role is central and active, and then it is teacher dominates the method. The teacher models the target language, controls the direction and pace of learning, and monitors and corrects the student performance. And then the teacher is also responsible for providing the student with a good model for imitation because the students are imitators of the teacher's model. The student follow the teacher's direction and respond as accurately and as rapidly as possible. The reason why the teacher's role is a teacher dominant method, because the teacher become a model like a native speakers. The student have to repeat what their teacher says, and the technique purpose to drill the student pronunciation in order that the student can practice the pronunciation itself. However, the teacher needs another method to avoid the teacher centered, and this method is uh, and then for communicative language teaching, or CLT, is used for continue after audiolingual method. But for in communicative language teaching, is teacher facilitate communication in a classroom. In this role, one of the teacher major responsibilities to the established institution likely to promote communication. During the activities, the teacher acts as advisor, answering students' questions and monitoring the students' performance. Based on there are some common technique of ALM and CLT in classroom activities, and then dialogue and drills form the basis of the audiolingual classroom activities. Okay, in for the conclusion, speaking activity for junior high school student need an, I think it is interesting activity in order to motivate student in speaking. The teacher should create fun and active learning to make student actively involved in the classroom. And then one of one the ways in order to make student involved actively in through ALM and CLT. And then ALM is a method that focuses on teaching pronunciation. In this method, the teacher drills the student pronunciation, and the teacher asks student to repeat and memorize what the teacher says. And then for the CLT, is this method emphasis in interaction and real life situation. In this method, the teacher sets up the real life situation that the student like encounter in the real life. Based on the discussion, it can be concluded that ALM and CLT are useful and applicable. On the whole, through this technique, the interaction between student and teachers will be closer. Student-teachers interaction happen in drilling sentence, and student-student interaction happens when student discuss in making a short conversation. Meanwhile, this method need a good time management. It should be prepared before the lesson time. Teacher needs to prepare and the materials and also the media. And this method also need a model like native speaker to drill the student pronunciation. For the education, the teacher may use tape recorder as a media to drill student pronunciation. And if student make a mistake, the teacher should correct this mistake of the pronunciation or grammar directly. And then this method need much time to practice, so that the teacher should give more chance to the student to be more active and let the student to do several practice. I think that's all from me. If I have a mistake, I'm so sorry. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.